I'm Jenner Barrington-Ward.
And I'm Andrew McLeod.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Marcelo Brosiner.
I'm Tarsha Stack.
And I'm Dennis Stack.
I'm Margaret Dig.
And I'm Sharon Johnson.
And I'm Isabella Deslime-Betts.
And I'm Elijah Kaplan.
I'm Tressa Sloan.
And I'm Dan Richards.
I'm Yvette Wilkes.
And I'm Mark Billiker.
I'm Justin Page.
I'm Colby Smalls-Out.
I'm Kayla Mamlak.
I'm Sarah Zhang, and I hope you all voted.
I'm Cayenne Anderson.
And I'm Joe Lynch. We're the co-hosts of Greatest Somerville right here on SCAT TV. We broadcast Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. And we are tonight's guest anchors.
So we are here at the Mystic and just wanted to ask you a question about what are your hopes for improvements here at the Mystic?
I think we should have more parks around here because there's a lot of kids that we need like more parks just to hang around and just to play.
What improvements would you like to see here at the Mystic for 2014?
Well, me and some of the youth I work with here at the Eagle Eye Institute with the Eagle Club have been learning a lot about the environment and how to protect the environment for future generations. So they're going to tell you what we want for 2014 for the Mystic neighborhood and the Mystic community. What do we want, Jacob?
We want recycling bins.
Why do we want them?
Because the trash cans are overflowing and it's polluting our world.
The construction is well underway, but these men are not part of it.
They have subbed the drywall finish out to a non-union taping outfit.
In terms of increasing our tax base, the benefits, the impacts of development in our neighborhoods, the sustainability of our economic development, and the connection to those jobs. So rather than take an approach, we're going to make Legoland or work with, just have them hire these individuals from Somerville Now. We want to make sure that working with our community groups, working with all our stakeholders, there's a universe of skilled employees available, which there are here, and they're ready to apply for and take on those job opportunities, and that all prospective tenants or future developers in the city understand that there's a process and framework to doing so, to doing business here in the city.
Legoland has made promises and City Hall has made promises, but so far, nothing is on paper. Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Kami Wood.
My name is Kami Wood, and I'm a recent graduate of Boston University. I interned at Somerville Neighborhood News in the fall of 2013, and I can honestly say I learned how to be a reporter at Somerville Neighborhood News, or at least I learned the foundation for how to be a good reporter there. I really don't think I would be where I am today without everything I learned at SNN. I graduated from Boston University in May of 2014, and I am currently a news reporter at WWNY News in Watertown, New York. Thank you to everyone at SNN for everything they taught me.
During the 2013-2014 school year, Somerville High School has implemented a brand new daily schedule. School administrators, like Darius Green, have been working hard to make sure that the transition this year is as seamless as possible for both teachers and students.
This year, 2013-2014, Somerville High School is implementing a new daily schedule.
The State Department of Education says 12,000 to 13,000 students do not have a steady place to sleep.
I kind of went on this downward spiral after my dad passed away and we moved here. I kind of was on the whole rebellious stage, not wanting to move here, not wanting to be here. Started getting parties, coming home drunk, smoking the weed, all that type of stuff.
Boys soccer team, great job.
Somerville is in crisis. The homes and apartments here are becoming too expensive for the people who live here. I'm here at Clarendon Hill Apartments in the first in a series of stories focusing on the housing issue.
My name is Peter Ballanon Rosen, and I went to Tufts University.
I was a student reporter with Somerville Neighborhood News from October 2013 until May 2014. At SNN, I learned how to craft a story, I learned how to ask questions, I learned how to go out in the field and meet people, and just kind of dove right into this journalism thing. I also learned how to deal with about 1 million emails every day from Jane. So needless to say, I learned a lot, and thank you, SNN. Now I'm at WBUR. I'm a reporter with Learning Lab doing digital education reporting.
Almost 1,000 supporters of immigration reform marched in downtown Boston on October 5th. It was one of about 100 marches across the country that day.
We are here to push for immigration reform because it's very necessary that most of the 11 immigrants undocumented here need to get something to legalize them.
I was 13 when I came here. I adapted fast to the culture. I would do my homeworks every night. I was junior, senior, and then I realized that the situation about going to college is not just having good grades or being good at some sport.
Mitchell Freitas had a similar experience.
In my senior year, I kind of hit a little bit of a desperation point where I didn't know what to do, you know. I had to apply to colleges, but I didn't know what colleges would take me because I was undocumented.
I'm relieved to finally present it to everyone and show it after all the practice and hard work.
All right, I think that my favorite part is being able to share with everyone else a little piece of my culture.
And my favorite part has been experiencing their culture because I'm not Brazilian and I've got to take part in this festivity.
My favorite part of Multicultural Fair is probably the dances itself, because you get to see all the different cultures and how people dance.
So I'm the current student representative to the school committee, and it's my job to voice the concerns and the happenings of the students here at the high school. If you had the chance to speak before the school committee, what comments or complaints would you make to them?
I would want them to fix the auditorium and get the school.
Hi, my name is Marcelo Brosiner. I went to Somerville High School, and I was a student reporter intern for the Somerville Neighborhood News. I definitely learned a lot of things by working with SNN. First and foremost, how to film, edit, and produce a news story. But more important than that, I learned what it takes to give it value, like good camera work, important background knowledge, constructive and well-written questions, and giving it relevance to the audience. But more important than the technicalities of it all, I learned a lot about people as well as myself through the many interactions that I had in my time at SNN. And on a last note, I just wanted to thank Jane Regan for being such a great mentor. She taught me so many things, and she was extremely patient with me, even though she was always on the tightest of schedules.
When we do these kids author events, whether it's here in the store, at the schools around Cambridge and Somerville, and at the libraries, we wanted to be able to ensure kids took books home with them. So that's what we asked to use the money for.
Hi, my name is Francisca. I'm here to talk to you about Question 4. I don't know if you know anything about that.
No.
Question 4 is about sick time. You know, in Massachusetts, a lot of companies doesn't have sick time at the job. So they trying to get people to vote on Question 4.
Francisca Guarta works at the Somerville Visiting Nurses Association all week. But on a recent Saturday, she volunteered to work some more to help educate her neighbors about a referendum that would guarantee sick time leave for all workers in the state.
At the moment, we were standing in the middle of Lincoln Park Field at the Argenziano School. This is where the Youth Soccer League and other youth sports and recreational groups use the field. So one of the problems with this field in particular is that it's a hard-packed surface and it has not been maintained properly or aerated properly or watered properly. So you've got these areas of dry patch that are very compacted and hard. The other problem is the materials that were used when they put this field back in seem to be bubbling up pieces of glass.
And Brazilians in Somerville are keeping a closer eye on the tournament than ever before.
World Cup is in Brazil, so I am actually rooting for Latin countries to be in the final. I'm cheering for Brazil, and I hope that Mexico does very well, and we'll see who wins.
The match on June 16th pitted Brazil against its Latin American rival, Mexico.
Doing very well at the moment. I do think that I am cheering for Brazil.
Gaucho Brazilian Cuisine on Broadway is another restaurant still using styrofoam as their to-go containers. Red Bones in Davis Square is one of the few restaurants we found that's actually using cardboard and not styrofoam for their to-go boxes. My name is Justin Page. I'm a senior at Boston University studying broadcast journalism. And this past summer, I was a student reporter intern for the Somerville Neighborhood News. I think something I'm most grateful for during my time here in Somerville was all the hands-on experience I got. From taking out the equipment, shooting my own interviews, reaching out to people to get those interviews, and shooting my own B-roll, and even to putting that package together in the editing suites as well. From start to finish, I felt like that package was my project. I knew it was my responsibility to get it in on time, and I really learned how to manage my time and get those packages in on those hard deadlines. I think another thing that I learned while I was here was all the teamwork that goes into putting a new show together. From each and every story to going out with a camera person, and how much confidence that can give you going out with somebody else to make sure you just have an extra set of eyes on the camera, on your surroundings, and on what you're going to be saying during your stand-up and your packages and everything like that. Another important thing I learned while I was here in Somerville was taking those big headline national news stories and bringing them down to a more local level so they would be important to people, say, in our neighborhood here. I think that's very important. I think local news is up and coming around the country because people want to know how news will affect them personally. And in a city like Somerville that's constantly changing right before our eyes, I think this type of news is crucial. And I think lastly, something the Somerville Neighborhood News gave me was confidence. The confidence to go out and interview members of local organizations, representatives of the local government, and really ask the questions that matter, the questions that will be important to move a story forward. Now this fall, I'm actually interning at Fox 25 in Dedham. I'm a sports intern. I'm a big Red Sox fan, big Bruins fan. I'm not sure if it's exactly what I want to do, but I am getting a lot of great experience on the software there, and I'm meeting a lot of great people over there as well, so I am enjoying it. And as far as the spring goes, I'm not too sure, but hopefully holds something great in store for me as well. Thanks, and enjoy the night.
The city claims cars have slowed down due to a curve called a chicane painted on the road, which is supposed to slow the traffic. But 5 minutes on the street make it clear. Speeding cars are still a problem.
So yeah, your chef salad and that note.
I personally benefited from culinary is I'm not shy anymore, and I'm more useful in the kitchen, which I wasn't when I was young, and I don't cut myself with knives anymore.
The city is being proactive because it's clear old-fashioned rat poison isn't working.
Joey came out 3 weeks ago to hang this bait. There's 4 catch basins, and it's still hanging. There's not a mark on it. This would all be nibbled out. It'd be gone if it had been eaten. And I've been there 25 years. I don't feel it's more now. It's the more people, the more trash, the more problems, the more rodents. So, and then you have people have vegetable gardens, grapevines, compost bins, and then you have, a problem with how to take care of your trash, how to properly do it. Well, there's an example right across the street.
What's the matter with that?
It's a trash barrel right there with no cover on it, so the rodents just have to jump from the ground to the cover and have at it whatever's in there to eat.
Hung for 15 is to gather the community, a bunch of different unions and labor workers from a bunch of different places, to rally together to send the message that we need fair wages, that we just need paid sick days, just fair rights for all these workers that are busting their butts that deserve it.
After meeting at Downtown Crossing, the band split up to rally at 3 low-wage locations: the Wendy's, the Corner Mall, and the H&M.
These students might seem like the average high schoolers, heading off to class. But this group of students from Somerville High are actually going on a field trip that most students their age could only dream of.
I'm just going to have you guys count off going up this way and down that way, starting with miles. And so on the way back, hopefully we have the same number.
19, 20,
21.
We graduated in November 15th.
Stand by.
And we've been in patrols ever since. We did 2 months of field training, and now we're all on our own.
There are hardships and sometimes there are prejudices. You know, sometimes people think that a female officer can't do what a male police officer can do. But you know what, Cassandra will have to deal with those issues just like everybody else. And I can tell you that her upbringing was proper, and that she's the type of person who's respectful, she's honest, truthful, very polite.
We'll find out in a few minutes.
I'm Emlyn. I am currently a senior at Boston University. Of course, the staff was amazing every day. Every time I came in, they were here to help. But also Jane, you were also really amazing. You helped me learn a lot, throwing us out there and letting us get the story. But you were also with us, every step of the way.
What do people around Somerville think about local news? Reporter Kayla Mamelek wanted to find out.
Do you pay attention to local news?
As much as I can.
And what about local news do you find is important?
Well, I just want to know what's happening in the neighborhood and my local community. Lately, I've been really interested in local government.
If Somerville were to ban plastic bags or to enforce a fee, how would you feel about that?
I would say please ask the supermarkets to have paper bags with handles on them. And then I think it would be great. So it's a good idea. But there needs to be, for me, an alternative, which is a handle.
To make it easier for you to carry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And other people, too.
Initially, I don't know what my reaction would be because I use a lot of plastic bags, I'm not gonna lie.
A railing without a grip, a curb too steep for a wheelchair, a water fountain that is too high. All of these things could impact a differently abled person's daily life.
So, I don't know, you can't drink water just like everybody else. What does that mean about how included you are? Let's do what kids with disabilities do. They peer in through the fence instead of playing with their peers. And I know that from personal experience. So what we have here is sand, which gives no traction to people using wheel mobility device, whether the parent or the child.
Hi, my name is Sharon Johnson. I am a junior journalism major at Emerson College. I learned so much at Somerville Neighborhood News. I can't even begin to explain. Before I came into Somerville Neighborhood News, I had no idea how to use a real camera, and now I could use pretty much any type of camera I want. I think a lot of times with the mainstream media, they focus on more of they focus more on the stories about the bigger people like the policeman or the mayor or the governor. And at Somerville Neighborhood News, we focused more on the community, and the community is really what matters most. The people that we work with every day, the people that we see every day, the people that we buy stuff from every day, those are people that matter the most. And at Somerville Neighborhood News, I got to report on that, and I got to basically speak with people in the community about how they're doing. And I think this is the best type of journalism, comes from the people, and that's what Somerville Neighborhood News is really about. And I know all the skills that I learned this past summer, I'm going to be using for the rest of my life, for the rest of my career. And I hope that the reporter I was this summer, being in depth and caring about what I really say and caring about the people that my words affect, I hope that's the reporter I am for the rest of my life.
How do Tufts, Harvard, BU, and other institutions measure up? It's hard to compare them exactly because of differing endowments, different student bodies, etc. In Boston, many have now raised their pilot payments, like BU, which has about the same endowment as Tufts. In 2013, BU paid almost 20% of what it would owe, over $6 million in cash and another $6 million in services. For its Boston properties, Tufts paid about 15% of what it would owe, with $375,000 in cash, representing over 7% of what it would owe that city. But in Somerville, Tufts pays only 4.7% of what it would owe.
Our reporters talked to Dunleavy on August 8th.
Well, I've been here so long, I'm nothing against Mayor Curtatone, but I'm probably the next known face in Somerville for all the people that, all the customers that shop here for so long, I've worked here since I was 15 years old. Not in this particular store, but for the company since I was 15.
2/3 of the students polled, 8 out of the 12, are violating Medford or Somerville zoning ordinances by having too many roommates. In Medford, only 3 unrelated students are allowed to share an apartment or home.
I know of 2 students who already got letters threatening them with eviction, but they were not comfortable speaking on camera. But I did find one student willing to talk. He lives in Medford.
We wanted to move off campus because our lottery numbers weren't that great for this year. I know a decent amount of people who live off campus, especially upperclassmen, because housing isn't guaranteed for Tufts students in junior and senior years.
To minimize the number of water chestnuts for the next year, the best time for removal is June to July.
Most people think of an invasive species as being something that's exotic, that is very abundant and causes problems, economic and ecological harm in the invaded habitat.
They've got a million seeds and they'll go down in the bottom and lay dormant, come back year after year. Just like politics, goes on forever.
It has a pretty extensive root system, and the root system comes from this nut here.
Nice to have the Navy Band here in Somerville because the Navy Band does play a really good quality music.
But Independence Day is about more than just music.
It means partly a celebration, but those of us who have had members of our family who are in the service, both my mother, who was an officer in the Coast Guard, and my father was in the Navy, were World War II generation. And though I didn't have the opportunity to serve, the sense of respect for service is, I think, an important one, sometimes lost a little bit.
For kids, the event is about being happy and having fun.
Freedom, independence, loving this country, being able to do what we want, hang out. What's your favorite?
And surprises.
Surprises? What kind of surprises?
Boo-boo.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Shuqing Zhao. Hello, my name is Zhao. I worked as an intern reporter for Sky TV over the summer. I really liked it there. Erica is perky, Wendy is graceful, and Jane was always resourceful, and she still is. Just beware that she runs a tight ship when she's working, and if you work your ass off, that's gonna make her happy.
In your point of view, what improvements can be made to the parking, biking, and traffic situation here in Union Square?
Se podría mejorar más el parqueo, no hay suficiente parqueo para la gente. Un kiosco para traer música, la gente se interesa en venir a escuchar la música y después de la música venir a los negocios, no es solo un solo negocio. Sí se puede poner más luces para que los carros se paren y que la gente pueda cruzar.
Acá vivo en El Salvador, vivía y por parte de ellos vine acá a conocerlos. Yo le comenté a mis padres que como iba a cumplir mis 15 años, necesitaba estar con ellos, porque no es lo mismo estar con los padres que con los abuelos.
Rewrite your story. Okay? Escribirlo de nuevo. Ahora, paso final. Okay? Limpio. I'll give you another paper.
Hi, we're Lyft. Lyft is the idea that people can be brought together through transportation. Today,
But taxi drivers and taxi companies are not so enthralled.
Along comes an app where whether it's, and there's Uber and Lyft and Halo, and so a lot of these ride sharing are kind of skirting the regulations that taxi cabs just cannot. You know, we're still responsible. We're still required to bring our cabs in once a year to be inspected, and we have to have our meters checked once a year and resealed to make sure they're accurate. Our rates are set through our town. So there's a lot of regulations that these apps just don't follow.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Sarah Zhang.
With Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Kayla Mamalak.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Elijah Kaplan.
In Somerville, I'm Dan Reiner for Somerville Neighborhood News.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Sharon Johnson.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Chu-Qing Zhao.
I'm Joe Lynch for Somerville Neighborhood News, and we're here in Davis Square outside the historic Somerville Theater.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Margaret Tague.
I'm Eliana Pedesano, youth reporter for Somerville Neighborhood News.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Jahan Lee.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Peter Balanon-Rosen.
Reporting for the Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Marcelo Brosiner.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Em Nguyen.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Scat TV Executive Director Wendy Blum.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Monica Akhtar.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Kami Wood.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Gordon Nelson.
For Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Colby Smallzell.
Reporting for Somerville Neighborhood News, I'm Jane Regan.
Somerville Community Access Television is a community media center located right in the heart of Union Square. In 1983, when cable television was new, Scat TV was the first public access television station in Massachusetts. And thanks to the leadership of Mayor Gene Brune, it served as a model for others that followed. Today, Scat TV continues to serve as a free speech venue, broadcasting programs created or sponsored by Somerville residents on Cable Channel 3. But that is just the beginning of the media services it provides for the community. Residents join Scat TV to take classes in video production, produce radio shows on Boston Free Radio, participate as community journalists for Somerville Neighborhood News, and educate their neighbors about important issues. Scat TV offers classes for kids,
So what's my problem? I'm fed up with the ignorance.
covers events, and serves as a community meeting space. Programs on Channel 3 can also be found streaming on the web at scattvsomerville.org. Scat TV has become a full-service, non-profit community media center with state-of-the-art high-definition production equipment for residents to use for programs on Channel 3. Come see how you can get involved. Visit us at 90 Union Square or call us at 617-628-8826.